Hey, curl friends. How's it going? I always like to come on YouTube Live first because it's so much more finicky than Instagram Live. But we're still doing this tonight. So trying to make this work on Instagram as well. Hopefully it does because I've been having issues. So who's with me tonight? For those of you who don't know, welcome to Fine Natural Hair Rocks. My name is Lavinia Latham, and I post videos about fine hair for tips, tricks, length retention, all that good stuff. So, hi Shadia! What is up? How's it going? How are you doing tonight? How are you feeling with the whole today's version of, quarantining? That's all I can really call it, today's version. For those of you guys who might be wondering like what's going on with my hair, this is an old wash and go. So yeah, like now it's hitting wash and no territories. So this is the reason why it's looking like this. But oh, I'm in the kitchen. I'm good though. It's good to know you're good, girl. It's so good to know you're good. You know, you gotta stay healthy. You gotta keep up with we're all cooking now. If you could do like some kind of exercise or ramp up your styling on your fine natural hair, that's great too. Hi, Belly and Bloom. What's up? I'm actually gonna be on Instagram Live for much shorter than YouTube Live. So if you want to join us over on YouTube, you're welcome to join. But yeah, so today, hey, pretty brownie one, how's it going? How's it going? Anita Lewis is over on Instagram as well too. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming and for being a part of this IG YouTube double live session. So how about we just jump on into it? For those of you guys who've been following Fine Natural Hair Rocks for a little bit, you'll know that I actually grew my hair out using wigs. So that was my main method. Like I literally have used wigs every step of the way. And so a lot of the times there can be misconceptions about wearing wigs because some people wear wigs in a way that's not necessarily good for their hair. So I would agree that if you're wearing a wig just to cover your hair up and you're not necessarily doing the things that you should be doing to keep your hair healthy, then it's probably not a good idea to continue doing that because essentially a wig is supposed to really provide your hair with the opportunity to be left alone and to grow and to all that good and to, really flourish, right? So I've got actually about 8 tips. I might have 10, we'll see, that I wanted to share with you guys. And then I'm definitely going to open up the floor for questions and for discussion. And I'm always happy to share everything that I know about the wigs. So how about we jump into this? So number 1, you need to make sure that when you're putting your wigs on, you're not just throwing it on like, your hair in like an open state. That will cause breakage immediately. You really want to ensure that, when you're wearing your wigs, number 1, your hair is clean. Your hair is clean and it's in twists or it's in braids. Hi, PSR076. Bellin Bloom says, yes, a wig shouldn't replace your natural hair. Absolutely not. I agree with you so much on that. But yeah, so you want to really make sure that your wig you have braids underneath it or you have twists. I would say for fine hair, you probably want to lean more on the side of twists because twists are easy to kind of impart on your hair with very minimal manipulation. And you're still getting like that flat kind of like low laying style. So that's tip number 1. Make sure you always have either braids or twists under your hair. Never ever wear your hair free flowing under the wig. That leads me to tip number 2. You want to make sure that you have some type of a protective covering on your fine natural strands. So a lot of the times you go to the beauty supply store and they'll have like, one of those like nylon wig caps. That's a no-no. Like those nylon wig caps will quickly pull the moisture from your hair and that will quickly lead to a lot of unnecessary breakage. So what I suggest instead, if you're into wigs for growing your hair, you want to use a satin wig cap. So this satin wig cap right here, I actually purchased this from my local beauty supply store. So I'm just going to give you guys a close-up look of it here. Scott is kind of a little bit, it's had better days for sure. But this is it right here. And for those on Instagram, this is what it looks like. So as you can see, this part of the wig is actually quite It's like a stretchy material that's kind of like a headband. It's not the softest of materials, right? And there it is on for Instagram. So what I would suggest for something like this, and what I do for my own hair, is I actually wear it flipped inside out, because the other side of it is completely satin, and so it's completely protective for your fine natural strands, which is fantastic. So I would definitely recommend that you cover with a satin covering of some sort. This is called a dome cap. So if you want to find your own, it will not be found as a wig cap. It's actually for men. It's supposed to be like a wave cap, but I just repurposed it as a wig cap because they don't sell wig caps in satin and silk for whatever reason. Which leads me to my third point. So you want to choose a wig that actually has a texture that's similar to your own, or at least blendable to your own with minimum heat and with minimum manipulation. So what does that look like? That looks like, it could be expensive. You could get a curly wig from places like kinkycurlyaki.com, or even, I think there was one called, what's it called? RPG Show. I personally don't think that's necessary. There's actually a ton of fantastic wigs that are curly, that are beautiful, that will last a long time, and that are synthetic. And synthetic wigs, if you're in the US, that could be as cheap as like $14.99 for like a half wig, or as expensive as like $79.99. So, you get your picking of the gamut of wigs for a decent price. It doesn't have to break the bank. And so you can definitely find a wig that has like a wavy pattern that maybe a braid out might match, or it has like a really tight type 4A, 4B, 4C, type 4 hair period pattern in either, synthetic or even human hair as well too. Hi, Jazzy. Thank you for coming on. Thank you so much. So that leads to my, you know what, let me just get rid of this whole numbering thing. That leads to I think we're on number 4, right? The fourth tip. So if you're strapped for time and you're really trying to, protect your hair, you don't want your hair to be exposed to the elements, because this piece right here, which is oftentimes your edges are the subject of either glue, or your edges are the subject of either manipulation to blend with your half wigs. Like, no matter what, if you're wearing a wig, there's going to be a lot of tension over here. Sometimes you just don't want all of that, right? So what you can do to avoid that is you can wear your wig and then you can choose a satin covering of a headband to cover that piece up. So I like to use this one right here. This is a satin hairband and it's very soft, and I wear it literally all the time. So I put my half wig about right here, and then at the front I'll have my own hair that's blending with the wig because I've chosen a realistic texture. And so to cover the piece that would be right here, I then go in with my headband to have it kind of like laying right here. And that's a really easy way to make sure that my hair isn't breaking off. I'm still protecting it. The wigs that I'm wearing aren't necessarily being worn just for the style, and that's it. It's actually having a benefit to my fine natural hair. So that leads me to, I think we're on 5. You want to give your hair a break. So many ladies I see are, wearing their wigs back to back to back. They're not necessarily, giving their hair a break, and your hair needs a break. You cannot live in a wig. It's very unhealthy and it will stunt growth. So what does that look like? If maybe you're not at a stage where you're comfortable with your natural curls, maybe you're not at a stage where, you want to even, wear your natural curls at all. So what does that look like? That looks like wearing your wig when you're outside, and when you come home, you gotta take it off. I know a lot of ladies are, a little bit hesitant about doing that. Maybe you live with a partner, or, maybe you're not in a situation where you necessarily feel comfortable walking around like that at home because you're just not there yet. In those situations, I would say you've really got to start working on your within to start, accepting your hair for what it can and cannot do, and really working with your hair to be the most healthiest possible, in the most healthiest possible state. Because healthy hair is going to grow. Healthy hair is going to look good. No matter what your texture is, there's no such thing as good hair. So let's just remove that. And your hair can flourish if you give it the opportunity to flourish and you do the healthy things that your hair requires. So that leads me to my next point. how can you get to a point where your strands are doing the things that you want, the length, you want the health, you want all that good stuff? I would suggest using growth oils. So the past, I want to say 3-4 months or so, I've had a good amount of hair growth, like a fantastic amount of hair growth, the most I've ever had really in this span of time, because of hair growth oils and because I've instituted massaging my scalp every so often. So the product, and this isn't a product push, but I do think it's a fantastic product, and I'm sure most of you guys have heard of it before. This is the Camille Rose Cocoa Nibs and Honey Ultimate Growth Serum. I really like this stuff because it has Ayurvedic Brahmi and Amla oils in it. So right now I'm really into growth oils, having seen the benefit that, this particular technique has had on my fine natural strands. And so right now I'm really playing around with different brands, because there are tons of brands, you guys, that have, growth oils, growth supplements, growth bombs, all those kinds of things. And I'm happy to review those for you too, if that's something you'd like to see. I honestly never used to think that there was something to this, but there is actually something to using growth oils and massaging it into your scalp every so often. So I usually aim for 2 to 3 times a week. Sometimes if I'm really good with it, it will be more like 4 to 5 times a week, or sometimes even 6 times a week. But of course, there is no real regimen to it. As long as you're getting it in on a weekly basis, you will start to see some results. The next thing that I would say is consider using supplements. So while you're wearing your wigs, while you're going about your day, being patient with the length and the strength of your hair, and the progress of your hair, the next thing that you might consider doing is maybe some supplements. So the supplements that I used, and I'm not recommending anybody to go out and buy this particular supplement. I'm not saying it's going to work 100%, because everybody's body is different. But the one that worked really well for me was the Mielle Organics Adult Gummy Vitamins. I really want to go back and press that point that you got to be careful what you put into your body, because I tried the Maintabolism ones and I literally, girl, my back broke out in like an awful itchy rash. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And it took like a good 6 or 7 months for that entire situation to resolve. So if you know that there's certain reactions you might have, what works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. So really, this whole supplement thing is, I would say if you have issues on a good day, then, maybe talk to your doctor about it first, and really be aware of the fact that not because it works for one person means it's going to work for another. But all that being said, the Mielle Organics Adult Gummies were tasty. They're kind of like a candy that you get to eat every day and not feel like guilty about it. And yeah, so I'm looking up here because Belle and Bloom says, love that oil. Belle and Bloom, she has fantastically beautiful hair. And it doesn't surprise me that you love that oil, because her hair is absolutely healthy, absolutely gorgeous. And I can tell that she's an advocate for using growth oils. And, I gotta say, the one time that I added growth oils to my regimen, which was within the last 3-4 months, that's when I started to see a growth spurt. So there's something to it, you guys. There's definitely something to it. The next thing that I want to say, I've lost count at this point, even though I had a list, like I totally had a list for you guys, but I lost point, is to stick to a regimen. So you don't want to just be wearing wigs and not sticking to a regimen at all. Like, you need to have a regimen that you follow from point blank, from start to finish, and you need to be able to tweak that regimen to work for yourself. So what does that look like in application? That looks like taking pictures of, maybe your hair fall every wash day. That looks like using products and really understanding what those ingredients are going to do for your hair, so that your hair can grow to optimal lengths and to be as healthy as possible. Because there's nothing worse than using a regimen that, you think the regimen's working for you and it feels like the regimen's working for you, but in actuality, it's not, right? And there's no real way to tell what's working for you unless you're truly charting your journey and you're truly making notes and you're truly remembering like what you did before that worked and didn't work, and what you're doing now that's working or might need to be tweaked. So that's a really, really good tip. And it's honestly, you guys, it's helped me so much, like so much. Belle and Bloom says, oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. You're dropping gems, sis. Oh, thank you. You know what? I'm here to help you guys, because I'm telling you, I remember the frustration. Like, the frustration is real. The frustration is so real. I went natural in 2009, and we are now in 2020. And literally, I only got on top of my A game about 1 to 2 years ago because there was just so much misinformation. And so I'm hoping that these tips, these experiences are going to help somebody to get to their finish line a little bit faster than it took me. I mean, it's never really a finish line, so maybe I should say more of a positive journey, a faster, more a less of a learning curve, as opposed to like what happened in my scenario. Because nobody wants to waste 10 years thinking they're doing the right things, and in fact, they're not doing the right things. The last and final tip before I open up the floor to some more conversations about this, if there is any conversations about this, is to be careful with those wig combs. Those wig combs will rip your hair out. You really want to make sure that the wig combs that you use, if you can, cut them out and use hairpins instead. So the benefit of that is that you're not always putting the hairpins in the exact same place. Because if you keep putting your hairpins right here, right here, right here all the time, this is where you're going to start to see breakage. Hey, Hadias! This is where you're going to start to see breakage. And this is where you're going to start to see bald spot and alopecia and all kinds of things that are very difficult to reverse. So when you're wearing your wigs, I know we like it slayed. I know we like it melted. I know we love all that stuff. But if you're really trying to grow your hair out and you're using your wigs to grow your hair out, then you've got to implement those strategies that lead to your hair actually growing out. So instead of, having the wig clip back here and then having the wig clip up here and like cinching it into your fragile strands, remove it all together and use your hairpins instead. So those are my tips, you guys. They're not tips that I'm just saying for the sake of saying. Those are the tips that I actually use to grow my hair from breaking and really short, crazy, like just not short because I wanted it short because it would not grow, choppy length hair, to literally like now I'm past armpit length and I'm on my way to bra strap length hair because of those tips. So if you guys liked these tips, if you guys want more information like this, then definitely give this video a big thumbs up. If you haven't become a Curlfriend yet and you're not subscribed yet, don't worry about it. It's free. But definitely be sure to hit up the subscribe button so that you can never ever miss new content. Because I mean, like Bella and Bloom said, I drop the gems. I make sure that what's working for me is gonna work for you. And I'm not really here to talk only about my journey. I'm here to, really work with you, whether you've got high porosity strands or low porosity strands or medium porosity strands. I mean, here on Fine Natural Hair Rocks, we do focus on fine, thin, fragile, natural hair. But there's still information in there that's available for other people and other naturals, even if your hair isn't necessarily fine. Fine, fragile, thin strands always need the utmost level of care. And that utmost level of care is it's just going to help you. It will help you for sure. So the way I see it, I've done tons of research, you guys. The thicker stranded naturals, they can get away with a little bit more, less sensitive handling of the strands. But fine naturals cannot. And if you're following a natural who has thicker, more sturdier strands, then that's going to lead to breakage. But if you're a natural who has thick strands and you're following, a regimen or you're following best practices of a fine natural stranded lady or guy, because we have some male Curlfriends up in here, then, that's only going to help you. That's only going to help you. So yeah, guys, that's it. I mean, I don't really have much more than that. I guess a bonus tip for growing your hair is to be up on your water. Water is always a good thing, no matter what. It's good for your skin. It's good for your hair. It's good for your mental well-being. It's good for everything, really. It's good for quarantining, so, you're not drying out indoors. It's good for all of that. So you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I'm always open to, requests. If there's anything that you want to see on Fine Natural Hair Rocks, if there's questions about your hair, I'm always happy to chat about it through the DMs. I've got a ton of you know, resources. I've really put my time, effort, and even money into learning more about natural hair, not just about my strands, but about your strands as well too. Pretty Brownie one, healthy eating. Healthy eating is really important. So I guess, like, you know, I agree with you, Pretty Brownie one. Like, healthy eating is another key point to that. You know, the more veggies you have, the more fruits you have, the more healthy things that you do for your body, it's only going to benefit your hair, because our bodies are actually really interesting mechanisms. Like, our bodies are, you know, if everything on the inside isn't working out very well, then what's up here isn't going to reflect very well either, because our bodies are designed to stay alive, and skin, nails, your hair, like, these are things that are, like, you know, they're luxuries. Like, if your body is not doing too well down here, then these are the first signs. Like, your hair is the first sign to show issues. Your skin's the first time to show issues. Your nails are the first places to show issues. And so, you know, drinking and healthy eating is only going to create an optimal environment to make sure that those things, you're giving yourself the best opportunity to grow the most healthiest strands of hair. So yeah, y'all. That was a lot of talking for me, wasn't it? You guys are fantastic. I really enjoyed being on here with you. For those of you who are still interested in more information about your fine natural hair strands, you're pumped, you're amped, you want to learn more, I've got about 40 videos that are just talking about fine natural strands. So be it protective styling, be it wash and goes, be it whatever. Anything to do with fine hair is right here on Fine Natural Hair Rocks, hence the term Fine Natural Hair Rocks. So yeah, you guys, if everyone's kind of, you know, taking in that information, I'll probably leave it at that then. Thank you so much for being on this live with me. Hadiaz, Bellin Bloom, Shadia Smith, Pretty Brownie 1, PSR 076, Jazzy. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you very much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.